All right, so the last one I'm gonna show you is actually is 2-point, right? So 2-point, and mine's gonna be kind of skewed because I'm trying to use the tripod and the camera and stuff. So with a 2-point perspective, if you're taking architectural graphics, 1307, you'll actually do a lot of this one. But with it, right, 2 points to really kind of give you a little bit more of a real life perspective compared to that of, obviously 1 point does look real life, but then the isometric's just very straight and with no perspectives, right? Compared to the 1 point, or like the hallway example I did, it kind of goes and does, you have the 1 point that you focus on. Obviously this one you're going to have 2 points, okay? So with it, what I can kind of look at is you try to get these points as far away as you can from the edge of your paper, right? A lot of times what people will do is actually, if you have like your piece of paper here, right, that you're actually where your project's going to be sitting and where your drawing's going to be, right, what they'll do is they'll tape a piece of paper on the back side of it, right, and so it kind of looks like this, okay, and they will put their points here and there, right, and so then they can go from that. The one thing to keep in mind is make sure that you have a long enough ruler that hits that, okay? Sometimes that's kind of your limitation because you don't have enough gap that you can kind of run and keep it going. So keep that in mind and kind of put your points as far as you can within reason with your ruler, okay? Or straight edge, it doesn't really matter. A lot of times I'll use a triangle again just because I can see the hidden features that I'm kind of looking at, okay? So with it, same thing goes with isometric and 1 point and 2 point. Those three all have, if something's vertical in life, it will still be vertical, right? So those three perspectives, that rule never changes for all those, okay? So let's say if I'm still drawing, let's say I'm just gonna draw just a certain box, same as before, okay? Now, if I'm looking at this, all right, what I can say to scale is this line and this line only. Once I get past that, then my scale's gone because I'm going to these vanishing points, okay? Sorry for the camera move, I tapped on the table and it moved it too much, all right? So when I look at that, right, then what I can kind of say is I'm gonna go on this side and this side, okay? I can do the same exact thing. I'm gonna come and hit to this one, come on this side, as my marker's dying, come on this side, and come on this side, okay? So what I can kind of look at is this is A point, all right? And then this is my B point, okay? So then same as before, I can say that's A and that's B face, right? And so you don't have to draw that on there, but a lot of times it's easier to kind of visualize it and kind of get that and see that, right? So let's say if I'm gonna finish off my box. So I'm gonna put it there, okay? Same thing goes if I wanna do a triangle, just like in the isometric view. I would find my middle, come up from there, connect to that, right? I can go back through my point and that gets this one coming across, right? Sometimes you can actually take this line and kind of cheat it and then do for that, right? And so that would get that piece. The true way to do it is to actually build the back of this guy, come up, find the midpoint again, do that, and then that's where it pivots, okay? But in some cases, when you're trying to do just a rough sketch, like what I'm getting you all to do, obviously, if you're taking Miss Hudson's class in 1307, then obviously she's going to want to do the right way. But if you're doing just a quick sketch, it's fine to kind of cheat and find this line that's right there, okay? With it. Now, if I'm looking at, same with kind of how we did the isometric, and I drew that little long building to the right, right? So with it, what I can look now is I can still take the same points, right? So let's say if I'm looking and making, this is like the staircase that's there, and then let's say the F building and the H building's here, right? When I look at that, the F building is actually tucked behind this building, right? Or this staircase that's sitting there. So what I'm gonna do is, but it still runs parallel to that one, right? So then with this, I'm gonna run from my B point, come up from here, okay? Now I'm gonna do the same thing, come from my B point and go out, right? So everything that's going out should expand as I go, okay? Then I could do, if I wanna end it ditch, so on, right? And go from there, okay? So then we can say here's the windows, whatever, the stairs, columns, etc., right? And so that kind of gets that idea going across, right? Same with the H building. Let's say it goes behind that as well, right? So then maybe I'll look at it, kind of come from there, come across, so on, right? Same as what we would do there. But let's say the H building came straight off of this wall right here, right? So then in that case, I would still come from my A point, come across, come from this one, come across, okay? So now, in this, similar to how we were kind of looking at the 1 point, I can, in theory, walk this way and go around that, right? And so that's where those that table and chairs is, etc., right? And so that table and chair is sitting here, and then there's a bunch over here, taped off and everything, right? And so that's where those are, okay? The sidewalk goes around this little area, and so on. It kind of looks like that, and then it kind of tapers off, something like that, right? But let's say if this kind of comes and it dies, and then you got a little table again here, right? But now on this one, I can't go that way, right? But if I have my column and it's coming across still to my B point, then I can kind of look and make my column something like that, right? And so I can do the same thing, kind of come across, and the trick is to use this back line, so then you know how deep that column is. Then I can go across, back to B, come across, back to B in theory again, but I would just kind of come up, 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 all right? Depending on where your vanishing points are, which mine are up here, so I'm gonna be above seeing the belly side of that corridor, or that colonnade right there, okay? Then what I can even do is take the same back from my A point, and I could put in that back wall that's sitting there, right? And so then now, if I get my chubby fingers in there, I can ditch those, and so then that's the sidewalk where I would be walking, okay? Again, this is just a quick kind of video just to kind of show you the different perspectives. This one is 2 point, all right? Let me know if you have questions.